All right, man. Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Greg, your co-host of the Grilling to Get Away podcast. I'm here with my buddy.
What's going on, everyone? This is Ben.
Ben, welcome back.
It's good to be back, man.
That's good. It's good to see you. You dressed warm today.
Sure did.
Yeah.
It's, what was it? I think on my way over, the car was saying like -6.
-6, and then
it's beautiful, Greg.
Right.
Sun shining.
Good grilling weather.
It sure is, man.
And then with the wind chill, it's probably about -30 something, right?
At least, yeah.
Yeah, at least.
Heat wave.
Heat wave, yeah. Well, man, I'm glad you can make it over. Glad the car started. You got over here.
Me too. You should have heard it. It was like, he was not happy about it.
Yeah.
But she fired up. So
that's good.
Yeah.
That's good. Well, we got another winner for our weekly giveaway.
Winner number 2.
Winner number 2. So I reached out to Mike last week after the podcast, and he got back to me. He's
Look
from
at that.
He's from Alabama, so I'm sending a Smash Burger kit down to Alabama
Even
for
better.
him. But yeah, if you want to get involved with our giveaways, you go over to our website, burnpitbbq.com, enter in your email address for our weekly subscriber, like our weekly newsletter, and you'll be automatically entered in to win. That's just what we're doing this year, giving back, so congratulations to Mike last week. And then this week we got a new winner we just picked. We don't have a first name. We just have an email address. So it's Z Ashmore 1987. And congrats,
Yeah.
We'll reach out to you. And
There goes Z.
Yeah, we'll reach out to you and get your address and send you one of these Smash Burger kits. But yeah, you can go out to the website, burnpitbbq.com, to be entered in. Stay subscribed to the list, because that's how you're going to be entered in each week. And we'll pick from that list. So congrats again, and go over there, sign up. And again, we're filming this thing for YouTube, so if you want to see us in all of our glory, you can go over to our YouTube channel, Burn Pit BBQ.
Down in the basement.
And, yeah, watch us live, I guess you could say, or recorded, whatever,
Give me a
on
thumbs
the
up.
on the video there. So, all
Hopefully
right,
it's recording.
I think it is. Yeah. If not, then
We'll have to redo this.
we'll have to redo the whole episode. Yeah,
Perfect.
we've done that before.
Yep.
Well, I know it's been really cold. It's been kind of windy, kind of miserable here. But did you get a chance to get out and grill at all over the past week?
And I'm trying to think. I thought I did something, but I might not have. Might not. I don't think so.
All right.
I thought about it a lot.
Yeah.
I looked outside at my grill a lot.
Yeah, same.
No, man, I mean, we were kind of busy.
And then the kids had off of
God
school
dang, yeah,
2 days
like,
because
yeah.
of the cold and because of the snow.
It was their 1 week, man, in January where they were going to be there for the whole week.
I
so
know this makes you angry.
it, the one day on Tuesday it got called off, and it was like raining. We didn't even get any snow.
Yeah, by us, like the weather people said it's going to be like 6 to 12 inches, and we got 0 inches by us, by the lake here.
Yeah, we could have gone out golfing.
Yeah, good. It just would have been a little wet.
Would have been wet, but yeah, it was. Yeah, so that day we had nothing,
And
then
the kids had no school that day.
And then Friday again they had no school.
No school again.
And then Monday no school, but that was
Because,
for a holiday.
Holiday,
Yeah, so seems like they're hanging out with me at home. I feel like I should be getting paid as a teacher.
Yeah.
I mean, I can only teach them everything I know, and
Right.
give
you some per diem.
I just 3 days off
Man.
at home with me. I got to put them to work.
Yeah. What did you do? Have them making some sample
packs? Yeah. Yeah. So
Taste testing some new
ideas.
ideas.
Yeah. Yep. We talk a lot. We talk a lot about. We'll pull out the recipe books.
Yeah.
And go through them together. And there was one man that was like peach ice cream.
Ooh.
Like peaches and ice cream. It looks
Peaches
good.
and ice cream.
Yeah. So with it being cold, might be a good one to try.
Yeah. That sounds good.
Yeah. That's what I said. So my daughter thought the same thing.
Yeah.
My son, I think he just wants the ice cream.
I'm sure he does.
Yeah.
Sounds right.
Yeah. Hold off on the peaches. I don't want it smoked. I just want.
Just give me the ice cream.
Just give me the ice cream. Don't ruin the good ice cream. God bless him.
Yeah. Well, that's understandable. I get it.
Did you grill at all?
I did not grill.
Oh, there you go.
I busted out the cast iron though.
Okay.
So as I mentioned last week, for my birthday, the wife and kids got me like these thick pork porterhouse steaks. So pork steaks, thick ones, like 1.5 inches. So I busted out the cast iron and cooked them up on the stove.
I know we talked about this because we were out at an event all weekend.
We had a little bit of time.
We had some downtime. So we talked about we talked about the cook.
Mm-hmm.
So can you let's talk about the recipe you followed.
Yeah. So it's been a while since I did like a pork steak, and
these are thick.
These
man.
are thick,
like,
1.5, almost 2 inches.
Geez,
Big bad boys.
I don't even know if I've ever done a pork steak like that.
Yeah, so it's a big one, and so I was looking for recipes. I was like, I was gonna do it in the cast iron on the stove, and
did you search that specifically? Doing it like cast iron on stove?
Yeah.
Okay.
On stove, pork porterhouse, recipes or whatever. Mm-hmm. So this was a simple one that I found, and it just had where you put a little olive oil, some crushed up garlic, some onions into like your cast iron. You let that get all nice and cozy in there, and then you then you put the steaks on and you sear them on both sides. It called for like 2 to 3 minutes per side.
Really? We're going like kind of medium high heat.
Yeah. So kind of medium, I would say, and then you kind of take it out and put it in the oven. Low heat for maybe 7 to 8 minutes. So
did you take it out?
I didn't. I didn't put it in the oven. So I was just gonna.
Weird.
Yeah, I was just gonna keep it in the cast iron, and I was gonna cover it with a cover I had that fit that one. Mm-hmm. So I was reading the recipe, and it looked simple enough, and I wasn't gonna do everything in there. I just wanted some basics of what time and temp are you pulling it off on. And so I seasoned it with our sweet heat rub, which goes great on pork. I kept it real simple here. Put some butter in the cast iron, let that get kind of golden brown, and then I put the pork steaks in there and let them sear up for quite a bit, But the recipe said, to pull them at 145, and for a steak, sure, for a beef steak, go ahead, pull them off at that time because you're looking for that medium rare.
Yep.
But for pork, I'm like, that seems a little bit low because usually for pork, you want it to be kind of done, right? You want it to be 160, like 165, right?
Well, and I think I asked you too, like, well, was that taken into consideration, like letting it rest, right? Like
it did, yeah. So it took it into consideration.
But like we talked about though, man, like it's not going to raise, jump 20 degrees.
But that was even like, so the recipe called for searing it and then putting it in the oven. But even at that point, he said, pull it out of the oven. Yeah, pull it at 145 and let it rest. So I followed it because I was curious, and so that I had my instant read thermometer where I just poked it in. It was right around that 145, a little bit over. So I was like, okay, I'll pull it and let it rest. I'll keep it covered on the cast iron because the cast iron is still hot. So I was like, okay, maybe it'll still cooking, but maybe 15 to 20 degrees is that's a lot. That's a big jump. Yeah,
that's a lot to ask for,
So I was like, well, let me test this out and see what happens. So I did, and then I was cutting into it. It was still really raw. Like after maybe 10 minutes, it was still like, I was like, this isn't right. I'm not going to eat this. So then I put it back on the stove and I started it back up, and it went to 160. And then I let it rest another 5 minutes, and it got up to 165, whatever. I cut into it. It was still nice and juicy, and I felt better about eating it.
That's fair.
So that one was weird. And then the book that you got me for my birthday by Tuffy Stone, he's got a thick pork chop recipe in there, and his says to pull it at 145 too.
Really?
Yeah. So I don't know. Like, I'll have to do a little bit more research into why 145. Because I'll be honest, aside from looking at those recipes, like I never went that low with pork. And I didn't even think to like research it. Why 145? I just kind of followed it and then went with my gut and said, this doesn't look right. And I put it back on to 160, and it was still juicy. It was like, I didn't turn it up high heat. I kept it kind of low and I let it covered. So it cook a little bit more. But I wouldn't get any charring or brownness on the outside. And I threw a little bit more butter in the bottom just to make sure of that. But it turned out good. Like there was a great rub on there, the sweet heat with the butter, a nice little golden brown crust on the outside, and still juicy on the inside. So I couldn't complain. But I was just curious about the 145, and I thought, let's try it out and see how it looks on the inside. And once I did, I was like, this isn't right. I'm not gonna eat this. Let's put it back on.
Yeah, that's crazy, man.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've ever done a pork steak like quite like inch and a half, almost 2 inches thick. Like that's pretty big.
Mm-hmm.
It's pork, right? Like I mean, you want to make sure it's done.
Right.
It's not like you said, like steaks, right?
Yeah.
Like where you can kind of customize it, right? But I mean, maybe try it out next time on a day where we don't have anything going on, and if he gets sick, he gets sick.
Yep.
Just try it and test it out for all of us.
Yeah.
Let me know, okay?
Easy, yeah. Funny how I get tasked for that one, huh?
Hey,
for the business, man.
Yeah. Don't be so selfish, okay?
Better be ready to pay me some FMLA.
Yeah, well, imagine that.
Yeah, so I mean that's what I did. I got the cast iron out and did that. But yeah, I didn't get a chance to get out and grill at all between the all the stuff that we had going on with the business and then the school and stuff, and then the weather. I just didn't get a chance to do it. So, but this week it looks like it's going to be cold, but it'll be clear, right? So. I'm thinking about doing some stuff. I got a chuck roast in there. We've been talking about some chili, so maybe that'll come up. But I did want to talk to you today about something we haven't talked about in a while, and that seems to be pretty popular among the people that follow us and listen to us is ribs.
I love ribs.
Pork ribs.
Love them.
So I'm part of a few Facebook groups that talk about grilling and barbecuing it besides our own, and the question always comes up with ribs, and this was specifically in like the Meat Church one. Like Meat Church has their own big group of people that are in that group, and there's a lot of new grillers and barbecuers in that group. So I like to be in there just to see what questions they're asking. Yeah. And this one had to do with wrapping and not wrapping ribs. So I've been obviously experimenting like with brisket and some other larger cuts of meat of not wrapping, keeping it simple, and I've also done that with ribs a few times. So I posted that question to our followers on Facebook to see, do you wrap? Do you not wrap? So I wanted to get your opinion on that because I've got some other questions for you too, because there were some interesting comments in there about what people do with their ribs. So what do you tend to do with your ribs when you're cooking them?
So I'll be honest, Greg. Like it really depends. Like I wouldn't say like I necessarily do the same thing every time.
Okay.
Right? Like I kind of I don't really have a great answer. I'd say like kind of it's like a third of the time. So like a third of the time I won't wrap them. Another third of the time I'll use like aluminum foil.
Yeah.
And then another third of the time like I'll use like butcher paper.
So some people said that. Some people kind of all depends. Like, so what makes you decide what you're doing?
I don't know. I honestly, I can't tell you. I think it just kind of depends like how I'm cooking it. Like sometimes I'll do, if I do like more than one rack, I like to stack them, so
one
like
on top of the other.
Yeah. So like they'll kind of drip down and you kind of rotate them out and stuff like that. But the kind of the juices all stay in there. There's other times too where I want them to be a little bit more tender and kind of have the bones slide out to do like sandwiches or something like that with them. Or, like that if I just ask the kids, like, how do we want to eat them today? So then a lot of, like, then I'll kind of use, like the aluminum foil, and it depends on kind of what rub I want to use and stuff like that. And then I'll put it down on the aluminum foil with like honey and stuff like that. Right. And then put it down and then wrap them that way. Or like if I'm going, if I want kind of more of like a heavier, like smoky flavor and stuff, I'm kind of going for like a longer cook, I guess. That's when I'll use like the butcher paper.
So does it depend on how long the cook is? Like, how do you decide how long your cook is going to be?
I'll be honest, buddy. There's times where like I'm halfway through it. I'm like, all right, well, I'm going to decide to do this today.
Okay.
Like sometimes
it's kind of game time. Like,
no
go
rhyme
with
or
your gut.
reason to it. It's just like, and it could just be a last minute decision I make to be like, oh, well, I'm starting to kind of crisp up a bit. I'm not really ready for this to be done. Like, I want to wrap them and kind of prolong it a little bit, or like push it out a bit. Or like it's still plenty hot, but like they're not, honestly, it just depends. It really, like.
Do you have a preference of what you like to do the best, or which turned out the best for you? Wrapping, not wrapping, butcher paper, aluminum foil?
I'd say like I think I prefer not wrapping more now, but like kind of learning and getting started. Definitely wrapping would be my suggestion. Like if you're kind of doing ribs, you know, and you're still working on it and trying to figure it out, and like, I mean, I would definitely wrap them up.
Now, why do you say that?
Because it can preserve them a little bit, if that makes sense. Like you're kind of keeping a lot more of like those juices and everything intact, to where, you know, if you cook them a little too long, it's gonna help like not dry it out. You're keeping all that moisture in there with the aluminum foil.
So then, like, the ultimate goal for like newbies, like someone new to ribs, is to keep them obviously moist and not dry them out. So your recommendation would be like, if you're getting started for the first time, you know, obviously leave it out so it can get a little smoke flavor. But then, like, if you're unsure, or if you want a little of a safeguard, make sure you wrap them up a little bit. Okay,
that's
your opinion.
The opinion on it.
I think that's a solid opinion. I would agree too. Like if you're just getting started and you've never done ribs before, you know, the biggest thing is you want to make sure they continue to stay moist, because it's a terrible feeling when you dry them out, you know, and you bite into it and it's just, you know, sawdust.
Bone, right? Like, it's just like, and I've done it.
Same here.
I've done it, like where it's just like, oh man,
you live and learn. It's almost like the rite of passage. Is man, these ribs stink.
Here you go.
Way to go! You messed it up again.
Wow. Call yourself a cook, huh? What are you doing?
You don't know anything.
Yeah, and there's those moments, right? Like it's, like I said, I've done it. You know, it's easy to kind of jump in and be too hot too quick. Yeah. You know, and then you're seeing them kind of like the bones showing a lot more.
Yeah.
Look at that. So.
We're not talking about competition ribs or anything like that. No. We're talking about backyard. This is what we're gonna be eating for dinner.
Because like there's times too, like think about like if you want to do like a rib sandwich, right? Like
sure, you want to pull the bones out.
Pull the bones out. Man, I saw a sandwich the other day, a picture of a sandwich, and it had like, I mean, it was stacked. Like it had like coleslaw and like a bunch of stuff in there. It looked awesome. Right. But it had ribs in there, and it still had the bones in it. And it's like 2 pieces of bread. Like why would you still have the bones in it? Like, it was weird. Yeah. Okay. It was weird. Yeah. Like so,
maybe he just likes to keep it all together like that
for the picture. I don't know.
Pull it out, you know.
I guess. I don't know.
For that. What the heck is that?
Yeah,
what are you doing?
Well, that's weird, right? Like, but then too, I'd be worried. Like, am I supposed to eat it like this? Like, no, it's maybe for the effect for you to pull the bones out, right?
Yeah. Kind of hold it as a sandwich and then pull the bones.
Slide them out.
Maybe. I don't know. Could be.
That's all I could think of. Yeah. But for me, like, I think, you know, if I'm kind of getting to the point where it's just like they're starting to get pretty dark on the outside, and like, you know, I'm not really ready for them to be done yet. I know they're not ready. Right. Then you wrap them kind of the safe.
Okay. Well, like when I posed that question to our Facebook page, Burn Pit BBQ, like a lot of people said, no, we don't wrap. Yeah. Just keep it simple, rub it down, let it go. But I had some interesting comments on there. One was, he absolutely wraps them, and then he puts them in a cooler overnight. So my first instinct was, overnight, really? That's a long time. Usually when I'm cooking ribs, like I want to eat them within that day, right? So at night or whatever for the meal. But no, he says he wraps them in aluminum foil, then he puts them in a cooler overnight to help tenderize them more, and then he kind of reheats them the next day. I get the concept of it, like kind of like when you rest like a brisket, you know, it continues to cook a little bit, tenderize a little bit in the juices.
Overnight's a long time.
That's what I thought. Overnight.
I mean, to each your own, man. That's your process and it works. Like I said, like you can cook ribs or something kind of. You can cook
if you found a process you like,
you stick with it.
It's important. But I just thought that was interesting. Like I'd never heard that before, and we've heard a lot of things about ribs. Like I'd never heard somebody doing it overnight. No. And then reheating them the next day, because usually, like when I'm cooking ribs, man, I'm like, that's what I'm having for dinner. I'm all in on it. Yeah. Let them rest a little bit, but not like overnight.
Yeah. No, I don't think I would do that.
Right.
If I did do that, well, guess what? I'm having ribs for breakfast.
Yeah. I'm having them right away when I wake up thinking about it.
I don't think I could hold off like that, man. Especially with ribs, like. I think my ribs are like my daughter's favorite food.
Yeah.
Um,
I'd say like my Everett's is probably his favorite food too. Ribs. Yeah.
yeah, like I tell her we have ribs, and they're like, "Hey, we're doing ribs." It's
yeah. But it's been kind of expensive recently.
Man, I got this pack from Costco.
All right.
And it's got
like a 3 in there.
3-pack.
3-pack. All right.
It was like $20.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's a good deal right now.
That's a solid deal.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you, they're in the fridge right now, and we're doing ribs.
Today?
Sometime this week.
Okay.
Sometime this week. Maybe tomorrow. Tomorrow I got some time, so we'll see. But I'm gonna do it where, before I cook them, I'm cutting them. So it's like individual.
Did we talk about that in the podcast at all? I think we talked
once. I think we talked about
because I saw that. Like
didn't you try it though?
I didn't try it. No, I saw a bunch of people doing it,
and it's been pretty popular. Like, I saw I know one guy posted did this, never going back the other way.
Yeah, hot and fast almost.
Pretty much, almost like wings, right?
Yeah,
you're cooking them.
I've seen some deep fry them.
Oh, really?
Smoke them up and then deep fry them.
Sure, I get it. I mean, I like the idea about it. Because now you're getting, instead of kind of like your top, layer essentially just being like your bark and stuff. You get it all the way around. Your seasoning, you
get the smoke all around. You get, it almost, and then also like kind of
caramelize.
Yeah, a little bit all over. Yeah. So each bite you get kind of that crust on the outside. I could see that. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I'm gonna do all 3 racks.
Nice. Well, let's talk about that then.
Yeah.
So. It sounds like you're giving a little bit of thought about this. So you're doing all 3 racks like that?
I'm going to do all 3 racks.
Okay. And how are you going to set up the grill?
So I'm kind of thinking I'm just going to do I'm really thinking on going with like lump charcoal on this one.
Are you doing an offset or are you doing it on like the Weber?
I'm doing the Weber.
Okay, so like indirect lump?
I think so, like almost where I'm going to put it just right in the middle and just try and spread it out.
It's almost like a vortex type
almost,
of thing.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Something kind of like that.
That's all right. Well, we won't get too much into it because I want you to try it and then come back and we can talk about it. But
yeah, I know, but I'm going to kind of do 2 separate. Since I'm doing so many, I'm eventually, like when I pull them, I'm going to put them, like I'll probably season them kind of up front.
Yeah.
Very similar. But then I'm going to kind of, I'll sauce them. And then I'll probably put them in kind of some tins and just let them caramelize a bit in there.
Okay. Yeah. So you're going to smoke them first, then you're going to put them in the sauce. And that's what I was going to ask you. Do you typically like to sauce your ribs?
Honestly, it just depends.
Okay.
It really just depends. Sometimes yes, sometimes no. This time I'm going to though.
Okay.
I want it. Like I said, I kind of want to try. I want to try some stuff
you're gonna
out.
Get sauce all around it, right?
Yes.
So
yep.
Just dip them in sauce and then let it go.
Yeah. So
that'd be good.
Yeah.
Get like a big bucket of sauce and just dip it in there and then put it right back on.
Right back on.
Woo.
Yeah. Something like that. So I'm not sure. I'm not necessarily sure what it's gonna look like. I'm gonna be making a sauce today for it. And then I'm also gonna use 2 of ours. I'm gonna combine them because we've had a lot of people talking about this lately.
Yeah.
But honestly, just using our spicy, so sticky fire.
Yep.
And then our sweet honey poke bait. And I'm gonna combine those.
Put those 2 together.
Yep. So it's gonna be
nice, sweet and spicy.
A little bit, yeah.
Nice, man.
Yeah.
Well, I'm looking forward to hearing how that goes for you.
Me too, man. I'm excited.
Make sure you take some pictures.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Make sure one of the kids are home. But yeah, I've never done them like this.
Right. I haven't either, so I'm interested to hear how it turns out for you.
Yeah, I know we talked about it, man.
Yeah, because I've been seeing them. Like I've been seeing them all over the place. People doing them all. It's kind of one of those new fads,
Yep.
So we'll see how it goes. And from what I've seen, people really enjoy them.
Yeah, I mean, literally, it's just like a wing.
Yeah.
And you're kind of doing a lot of it's almost like you're doing all the whole kind of the process and the prep work like up front. And then once you have them cut and you're done, right?
Right.
Now that's easy.
Yeah. It's all,
And so even with that too, like I'll probably let them rest like maybe 5-10 minutes max.
Now are you gonna put probes in there, or are you just gonna kind of let it ride?
I'm just gonna let it ride. I mean, you can tell for this. Yeah, I'm just
once
gonna
they start pulling back a little bit from the bone, kind of maybe then start
and rotate them out and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm not really sure. I know I know I kind of, like I said, I want to have one batch that's a little bit more traditional, where I'll use like our sweet heat rub.
Right.
The other one, I'm not sure what I want to do yet.
Okay.
So I mean, I kind of want to play a bit because I've got plenty of them.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Just I'm interested to hear how that's going to turn out for you.
Yeah, me too. Me too. It's a lot of ribs on the 22 inch.
It is a lot of ribs there. Three racks individually cut up.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I might have to do.
Two
I'm not sure.
batches?
I might almost do like 2.
Yeah, 2 batches.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll see.
All right. Yeah. Looking forward to hearing about it.
Me too, man. I'm excited. I like you said too. You've been seeing it a lot lately and stuff. I love the concept of it.
Yeah.
I think it's a great idea.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I'm kind of torn though on the lump charcoal versus like the bricks. So I'm not really sure what I'm gonna do yet. Like I said, I was leaning more towards the lump, but that's almost, I don't know. We'll see. Maybe I'll do a combination. I don't know yet. We'll see.
All right.
So,
Well, I'm looking forward to hearing about that. Yeah, that was kind of the big thing I wanted to ask you about, because that had come up a few times over the past week, and then I saw some of those posts of, do you wrap, do you not wrap?
mm-hmm.
A lot of people are saying, do the 3-2-1 method.
And that's both, right? I mean, you're going,
right.
And
so that's you're doing it, 3 hours smoking, 2 hours wrapped, 1 hour unwrapped again.
Yep.
You
got to be committed on
right,
that one.
and we go back and forth with that too.
Mm-hmm.
Some people do like a 3-1-1.
I know a lot of people that finish them in the oven, man.
Yeah, they get the initial smoke and then they just put it in the oven.
Yeah.
There's so many different ways to do it. I mean, everybody's got their opinion on it. We've heard also from people that do a lot of ribs, like you got to let the ribs will tell you when they're done, right?
Sure. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That you got to kind of understand the meat and stuff. But I think once you do it a few times, you kind of understand, one, what you like, and then also two, like, how long is this going to take? What method do you want to use, or what method do you prefer? I've been kind of really going kind of the simple, easy route lately with a lot of things, just rubbing it down and then letting it ride at low and slow, not worrying about wrapping or anything like that. So that's kind of the journey I'm on right now.
Nice.
Like,
Good journey to be on, man.
Right. Just be like, okay, let's see what happens here. Checking on it, making sure you're keeping an eye on the temperatures, and then also how it looks. So
more of the process.
Right.
Huh?
Yeah. Just, once you've done it a few times, you kind of understand a little bit more. And now you're like, okay, let's see how simple I can make this, and still make really good food.
Yeah.
Right. So, but no, I like that, you like to try a lot of different stuff, wrapping, not wrapping, just whatever you're in the mood for, just seeing what happens.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think, like I said, it kind of depends on, I'd say too, like, I think the last set of ribs that I did, I used the, I think that was the one I cut in half. I had one rack and I cut it in half, and we did the 2. I think that was the one I'd used the cherry jelly on.
Yeah.
So those I wrapped.
Mm-hmm.
For a little bit.
Yeah. Now we had, at the event that we had over the weekend, we had a lady come up to us who had never done ribs before.
She was scared.
She was scared to do ribs. She wasn't going to do smoking or grilling, but she wanted to do them in the oven, right? So what was your advice to her on that?
Man, I told her if she was going to do them in the oven, I told her to go set it to 350. I mean, we talked about like pulling the membrane off.
Yep.
I recommended that she wrapped them.
Mm-hmm.
I recommend, like we talked about seasoning them and stuff like that. So we'll see, man. Hopefully it works out for her. I mean, she wanted, like, she said, I think her exact words were like, I'm not a good cook, but I want to make good ribs.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, that's a tall order.
It is. Yeah.
But I mean, you just put them in the oven, have fun.
Right.
Don't take it too serious. Just wrap them and you'll be good to go.
Mm-hmm.
That was my recommendation.
Yeah. And what temperature did you tell her to pull them at?
I said, man, what was it, Greg? We talked about how it kind of varies, right? Like what she was looking for, how tender she wanted them. I said no sooner than 165.
Right. Yeah. That's when they're done.
Yep. But I mean,
you want to pull off the bone, or you want it real,
like 195, 200.
Yeah.
So I told her I would shoot kind of for 180.
Okay, that's a good bet. they're going to continue to cook in there as they, kind of come out of the oven, cool down a little bit.
Yeah, man. And even kind of thinking back, I almost she probably would have been a good person too, man, to tell her to just kind of cut them up individually, get a big tin. You know what I'm saying? Just get a big tin, season them, and then that probably would have been easier for her.
A little brown sugar, a little butter
right,
in there.
Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah. And just
sauce. Yep.
Maybe have it uncovered for like a half hour and then wrap them for another hour.
Sure.
And little apple juice, brown sugar,
sure,
some sauce.
Yeah. I mean that I guess the only way to know is that you gotta try it, right?
Yep.
Yeah, you learn so much by doing it, and then you kind of adjust from there. Hopefully, it's not so bad that you don't ever want to do it again. But
I don't know, man.
You always run the risk there. But
she seems like one of those that, like, if it did come out really, really bad, I'm not sure she'd be jumping in right away.
Right. Yeah. You know, who knows? Maybe she'll get the itch. You never know.
I hope so.
Yeah.
But I mean, she was asking, like, well, do you guys have videos on your website that I could?
We got
follow?
recipes, so you go out there.
But nothing for the oven, like.
No, but if we break it down enough, you can translate from the grill to the oven, man.
That's for us, man. Like some understand that concept.
Yeah.
I don't know. That was she had a lot of questions.
Yeah, but thankfully for her, there's a whole interweb full of videos out there for doing ribs in the oven.
I hope they turn out. I really do.
Yeah, no, she seemed eager about it, a little scared about it, but she came up and she talked to us, so that's the first step.
Yeah, she got stuff, so hopefully it works out. But yeah, I mean, you can't. I don't know. You can't screw it up too bad. I mean, you always can.
You can't. Yeah, like, I mean, that's we've done that.
Yeah, no, that's true.
Yeah, but no, we hope she does well, and hope it turns out for her. But hey, like for those that are thinking about doing ribs for the first time, it can be like daunting. I guess you could think about it like all the stuff you kind of have to think about, the temperature, like the actual meat, and then the process. The only way you're going to figure it out is if you go out and do it. So there's plenty of ways out there. Pick one to try out and see how it goes for you, and then hopefully it does well, and you want to try something else, do that, and just keep stacking those, and then eventually get to the spot where you're like, I'm going to mix this with this, and then I'm going to try this. These new fads and new recipes come out, that you can say, oh, well, let's try that and see how it goes. So it's kind of up to everybody, but the first thing you got to do is just try it.
What would you say? Would you, if you could go back and tell yourself when you were first starting, when you were first starting, did you wrap them? Do you remember?
Yeah, I was big on the butcher paper, man.
Yeah,
okay. Just because our boy, our best friend Steve Reichlin, he was always using butcher paper. So I was like, all right, well, I got to do that then. So I got a big roll of butcher paper. And, I never felt like I got the same results as if I used like aluminum foil. So I probably still got that same roll of butcher paper because I don't use it that much anymore.
Do you feel like it was better with aluminum foil?
Yeah, I like with the butcher paper, I thought just felt like, at least the stuff that I had, it felt like it absorbed a lot of the juices. So like mine would come out drier.
All right.
But it could have been user error too. But I found that with the aluminum foil, like it captures the juices a little bit more, tenderizes them a little more. So I mean, that's what I've stuck with when I usually do ribs now. Every now and again, I'll go back to the butcher paper just to try it out again, see if give it another shot. But no, I mean, like I said, if I am wrapping them, usually I'm using aluminum, like heavy duty aluminum foil. I've been double wrapping them too, so I'll put 2 sheets down.
Okay.
So it tends to work out pretty good. But like I said, I've just been really kind of going off of keeping it simple and not wrapping them at all.
Yeah, man. When I do use the aluminum foil, like I said, like I'll put honey down, and then like the rub that I'm using.
Yep.
And then kind of some squares of butter.
Yeah.
Put the meat, that side down, and then, I'll put some more kind of honey or the rub on the back side, and maybe a couple things of butter as well. And wrap it up.
Yeah.
That's kind of my go-to.
Yeah, and when I'm doing them, similar. Like if I'm wrapping them, I'll do something similar.
Yeah.
And they kind of say that like that's like the competition style or whatever. What it is, where you're putting the honey and the butter and the brown sugar and the rub on the bottom, and then you do the same thing on the backside. So, but I've done that. It turns out real good.
Yeah, you can't go wrong, man. I mean, it's trial and error,
Yeah.
like you said. Like, and I think maybe it was probably like within the last like couple of years that I really started doing that. You know, before I would just wrap them.
Right.
You know, literally just wrap them and call it a day.
Yep.
So.
But
Like
you can even
said,
do that too.
Yeah.
Just plenty of juices inside of those ribs. If you got a nice thick, rack of ribs.
Yep.
Plenty of juices in there that'll come out during the cooking process.
Would you ever recommend mopping or spritzing?
Oh yeah, I think so. Like,
do you have a preference, mopping to mop or spritz?
I usually do spritz more.
Yeah, me too.
Because with the mopping, with the mopping you can put like the rub or some other stuff like other spices in the mopping, liquid there because you're just taking a mop and you're mopping it over there. But with the spritz, I typically keep it pretty simple. Like maybe do some apple cider vinegar with some water, cut it down a little bit.
Yeah.
And then also, our partners that we had before, like Doc Soda, like Dr. Pepper stuff, where you get a little bit of that pepper flavor on there. I like doing that too. I think it gives it a nice color, and then also a nice little flavor too.
Yeah, no, I agree. I definitely spritz a little bit more than mop.
Now, I typically like. I think the point of spritzing or mopping is to, one, get some moisture in there so they don't dry out, but then also attract the smoke, right? So you get a nice color on there. So I like to sometimes put like a water pan underneath instead. So if like I'm doing a longer cook and I don't want to be in there spritzing or mopping, like I might put a little pan underneath with some of those things in there. So it's still getting that moisture, but I don't have to be opening up the lid at all.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's different ways to do it. Keep it a little moist in there. But, yeah, a lot of people mop, a lot of people spritz.
No, that's fair, man. I like to go with the apple cider vinegar and some apple juice.
Yep.
And maybe some water or something like
that,
too. But
sure.
That's I like that, the sweetness with the pork. Like that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, the sweetness typically lends pretty well to the pork. Yep. Yeah, man. Well, I think that kind of covers it. I mean, those are some of the questions I had that came up here recently. I know we talked to some people. Like ribs just seem to be coming up. A lot more people are doing them. And I know a lot of people are getting out with their smokers because they got them for Christmas or the holidays.
Good.
So,
that's good.
Yeah, ribs is one of those things where people like to try out right away because it's kind of like one of those staples of the barbecue world. So I just wanted to, and we haven't talked about it really in a long time. And those tend to be some of our, most listened to episodes is about ribs. So wanted to get on here and talk a little bit more about that.
Yeah, I think, like you said earlier too, like with the guy using the cooler, man, like if you find a process that works, like, man,
just do it. Yeah.
Do your thing. Like, I mean, is that weird? Yeah. That's awesome. Like I've never would even think of that.
I never heard that in like the 10 plus years that we've been doing that somebody would do it overnight, like a brisket or whatever. Yeah. But I guess it makes sense. And if it works for you and you got the time and you're not looking forward to eating them right away, hey, do what you need to do that tastes well for you and that you like the process. So yeah,
that's tough, man. I don't think I'd have the self-control.
Yeah. Like, same here, man. As soon as they're coming off, man, I'm like, oh, let's dig in.
Ready. Yeah. Like I've been
thinking about these all day,
cooking them all day, thinking about them. Like, man, that would be I'd be up in the middle of the night, like out there, like picking at it.
Yeah, right. Like 2 a.m. in the morning.
Yeah. Come back and wake up with sauce
on my face.
Man, you did it again.
You savage. Did it again, man.
Dog wakes me up, waking it off. No, I more power to you though. Like, good for you. I don't think I'd be able to do it, Greg.
Yeah, I don't think so either, man. But hey, if you can do that, you're a better man than me.
Yeah, absolutely. So. But I think kind of more or less like we're saying though, like do your own style.
Right.
And if it works, awesome.
Yep.
You support it. Please tell us about it. I mean, that's one like I appreciate you telling us that, but I probably won't try it.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm gonna be honest with you there, Greg. I wouldn't be able to wait until the morning.
Yeah, that's
like
true.
The next
true
day.
story.
Well,
at least you're honest with yourself, Ben.
Yeah, I know me too well. I know myself.
I know I'm not gonna do it.
Yeah. But
that's good.
But no, I think that's awesome. And again, too, like don't try stuff out, see what works for you, and let us know about it.
Yeah,
I think that's cool
for sure. Yeah, go out to the website burnpitbbq.com. We got some recipes out there, some rib recipes, some tips. But you can always find us on socials, Burn Pit BBQ on Facebook and Instagram. We're always posting these questions out there, so we always are looking for people's insights and feedback. And I think what's most important too is like we got a lot of people that follow us that are new barbecuers or grillers. So sometimes they don't feel confident asking those questions because some of these other groups, like, you just get lit up,
Yeah.
And we're not like
we're
that.
We're not here for that.
So we're going to ask a lot of those questions, and you're going to get a lot of insight from the comments,
Well, let's be honest. We're asking those questions for
us too.
ourselves.
Yeah. Right. That's a good idea. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah. So you go out there, give us a follow. We got a Facebook group too, Burn Pit BBQ, around the pit, that we're sharing recipes and ideas and stuff out there, what we're cooking too. But yeah, that's all I got for this week, Ben. Any last words, any parting gifts for anybody?
No, if you had the chance to brave the weather, come out to the home show and talk with us, we appreciate that. A lot of great vendors out there and stuff that we had the chance to hang out with.
Yeah.
So no, we appreciate everyone who was able to come out and come and kind of chat with us.
Yeah.
Let's see, anything coming up soon? We'll be hitting it in February.
So we got a few weeks off here
from
events, and we got Frost Fest at the Milwaukee War Memorial. That's February 3rd. So if you're in the area, bring the families out. There's gonna be kids events and stuff like that. It's geared towards more military and veteran families and stuff, but you can definitely come out, and they're gonna have games and vendors and stuff for the kids. So
the people juggling last year.
Juggling,
remember that?
They had like axe throwing in one of the rooms, like fake. Well, obviously fake, but.
We didn't make it to that.
Yeah, we didn't make it to that. But then we got Flannel Fest coming up in Wauwatosa. There's going to be some great vendors out there, other veteran-owned businesses, like our buddies at Rustic Oak. And then also Lit Beard is doing a beard competition out there with maybe some I'm not going to say, there might be a judge from Burn Pit BBQ that's judging beards. Who knows?
We'll see.
So you better get him on good side now.
Trust me, he's easily bought by food.
Yeah, food. Yeah. What do you got there?
$3, huh? $3. Oh yeah, I like your beard. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, you got some over here?
Oh, wait a minute.
It's like that Andy Reid State Farm.
Yeah.
Now explain it again with those chicken nuggets.
With those nuggies.
Yeah. Oh well, one can only hope.
Yeah.
But yeah, thanks again for everybody that continues to support and listen and share the podcast. We really appreciate it. Again, go out to YouTube. You can look and see us out there, recording the podcasts, sharing it with your friends and stuff like that. So, but Ben, stay warm.
Get out and grill.
Get out and grill. Yeah, get out there.
All right. Take it easy, everyone.
Next week. Cheers.